welcome to Family Tree Talk. My name's Helen Turvey. I'm editor of Family Tree, and with me, as usual, is
Nathan Ward, hello there.
hello. So, how are you, Nathan?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. So, we've both got a bit of a confession, haven't we? For anyone who's listening this time, is that we've been finding family history a bit difficult recently, haven't we?
Yes.
So, what we had thought we'd do, lovely listeners, is do a live research along. And so you could listen as we did realistic, real time family history. Because quite often you kind of see people saying, oh, it's not like doing family history isn't like how you see on the telly. It takes much longer, it's much more complicated. The answers don't fall into the right place where you'd hope they would do. And so, anyway, so we had a go at recording our live listen along. And honestly, it was very, very realistic, wasn't it? Every obstacle you can imagine, we got stuck at. So if we had given you that listen along, there would have been lots of like, they should be here. And I think after about, well, maybe like 1 minute of that, you might have got a little bit bored. So we're going to give a little recap of what we did actually manage to find out in the end. So just to orientate you, Nathan's been doing his family history for about a year and he's been making just massive progress. You're on a bit of a project to find all your 3 times great grandparents.
I was on that project, yeah, but now I'm on a side shoot, aren't I, where I'm trying to find missing children from the 1911
Yes.
fertility census. But yes, my main aim actually at the moment is to find all my 3 times great grandparents and then put a full stop on that and then get other stuff done.
And also, so listening to Nathan, you can tell that he is actually, might have only been doing family history for a little over a year, but he's a bona fide family historian because he's got his main goal and then he's got another goal and then he's got another goal that he's forgotten to tell you about, which he is thinking about dipping his toe out north of the border and learning about his Scottish ancestors. That was your other goal as well. So that's what happens when you do family history. And it was so many goals, don't you?
Yes, or as we call them, rabbit holes.
Rabbit holes, both. Yeah. So should we give a little summary of what we found out or what we were trying to do with the Scottish research?
Basically, I had traced my family tree back on one line. It was the Mackays, who a lot of them were actually living in Bradford, but obviously the origins came from Scotland. And we had the clue that, sorry, I'm getting PTSD here. Alexander and Jane Jeannie Johnson were my 3rd times great grandparents, and they were from Scotland. They were the family that migrated down to Yorkshire. So that's kind of where I was at before we did our live search session. I knew I had this family, but I'd got them and I didn't dare progress them any further because I'd have to leave Ancestry and go to Scotland's people.
Mm. And you had some lucky clues, didn't you, to help you try and establish a time frame and a location about where you were going to start your search in Scotland, didn't you? So do you want to chat a little bit about the children? So Alexandra and Jane Jeannie's, because she's called Jane sometimes, isn't she? And Jeannie and other times, that's why we call her Jane Jeannie. So Alexandra and Jane Jeannie's children, some of them were born in some location and some were born in another. Do you want to speak a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So there were three, well, there were lots of children, but there were 3 children in particular. 2 of them were born in like 1855, then 1857, and they were born in Scotland. So we have them on the census as saying born in Scotland. And then obviously later censuses, you've got all the more children, and they'll say born in Pudsey or wherever. The 3rd child was born in 1859, but he was born in Yorkshire. So from 1857 to 1859, that was when the migration south happened, because one was born in Scotland, the next one was born in Yorkshire. So somewhere in that time frame, they moved from Scotland to England.
So that was neat, wasn't it? Being able to kind of say a possible time frame. And we were also bearing in mind that potentially when looking for the birth of these children, that's going to give us a clue to Alexander and Jane Jeannie's marriage that's going to happen around the time of that first child. So that was another helpful clue. And then what about the 1891 census? Because Alexander dealt us a lovely extra good card there, didn't he? Because he didn't just say his birthplace was Scotland when he was recording himself on the English and Welsh census. He said,
Paisley.
yeah. So we felt pretty optimistic, didn't we? We had a good time frame. We had much more helpful location than just a broad brush Scotland answer for his birthplace. And so then we headed off, didn't we, to Scotland's people?
We did indeed, yes.
And I kind of feel really pathetic that we didn't make greater progress in our live search. Anyway, we didn't at the time. We have made progress since, haven't we? And do you want to say a little bit about what we found?
I'll try and remember. So yeah, we went to Scotland's people, and then we were looking for the marriage of Alexander and Jane, and we were obviously using the date ranges because of the children. I can't quite remember what you said, but there's something about it being in 1855. You get more details,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we found that the marriage was in 1854. We found a certificate, so I bought some credits, and we bought the certificate, and it was very unhelpful. It literally just told us that they'd got married, and it didn't give us
Yes.
any details of value at all. But at least we knew they got married in Scotland and in Paisley. But
Yes. So, what Nathan's talking about, so we're on Scotland's people. Had they got married from the 1st of January 1855 onwards, then their marriage register entry, so aka marriage certificate, would have been beautifully detailed, would have named both of their mothers as well as both of their fathers. So it would have been given even more detail than the normal English and Welsh marriage certificates that we're used to. Anyway, unfortunately, they got married at the end of 80. I think it was quite galling, wasn't it? I think it was even November or December. I can't remember. Maybe it was March. Anyway, but they got married in 1854. So just the final year of the rubbish records, they just nipped in there. So we had this one line entry in the old parochial registers, and it just said their names. And we were like, oh, because we'd hoped for a bit more. Or we felt we were on a bit of a streak. We were getting these extra little details, weren't we? So we wanted more.
yeah, we wanted the juice and we didn't get it.
No. So then we went off hunting for the kids, and we found some of the kids. And then this is where we came across a problem, which is really familiar everybody, I'm sure all of us, when you're doing your family history, you know your home turf. So for instance, you, Nathan, you literally can walk your home turf, can't you? Some of the videos you made on social media, you're walking around the places your ancestors lived. You're so lucky.
Yep.
Yes. But sometimes in family history, and very often, if you're somebody like me, whose family can't sit still even for one generation, we seem to live in loads of locations, and you're having to find out where the heck place names are, and what's the significance. If there's a different place name, does that mean they've moved a long way or a short way? Are those search results you're seeing with a different place name, is that a viable search result? Or are you're trying to piece together pieces of information that mean nothing to you, they're just words.
Yeah, everything's literally foreign, isn't it?
Even within, even just you can go a few counties away from your own county, and you're just not so familiar. Which are the big villages, which are the small villages, which ones are neighbouring villages.
Well, we were searching for Finlay Mackay, which was the child born before they moved, weren't we? And we got so many different locations that all sounded completely different. But when we eventually looked on a map, we could find most of them in sort of the Glasgowy area. But I didn't even know Paisley was near Glasgow. It is so foreign to me because it's like just somewhere I've got no clue about, basically. And again, I've got the comfort of obviously everybody being local around here. So when I look at my Yorkshire records, I know where those locations are. It's quite easy to chart and follow. This was just like a complete mystery, and like, is this person the same person? It was very confusing.
And that's such a normal problem, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why. There's so many reasons to love maps, but family historians do love maps. It's kind of census, newspapers. I think maps is going to be up there. There's the sort of thing, even if you don't realise you love maps, when you get an old map in front of your face, whether it's on screen or a printed one, it doesn't take much before you start going, oh goodness, have you noticed this? Have you noticed that? And you start to gain a different understanding. So that's your visual representation of words, isn't it? So rather than just a list of places, your brain can start to spot patterns and possibilities. So I think that would probably be the next step in your research, is to actually get your hands on a map and learn a bit about Scottish geography, this is my family history. Another reason why it's fun is because it makes you learn about things at school. You'd be like, oh, geography. But then when you've got a reason to learn about it, it's suddenly fun and focused.
Yeah, it sounds like another rabbit hole to go down there, doesn't it? If you try to just gather facts and get straight back as quickly as you can, it's like, actually, need to re-educate myself on locations in Scotland before I can progress any further with my family history, it suddenly becomes a bigger task, doesn't it?
It does, but it comes a little bit of a bigger task. But it also it's not a rabbit hole because what it is, it's shoring up the information you're finding. It's helping you assess what you're finding, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Be good at pub quizzes as well. Extend your geography
Brilliant.
knowledge.
Definitely, definitely. So I mean, obviously I think you use it a lot, don't you? You use Google Maps. Pubs, yes.
Yes, I use maps every now and again.
Some pubs, yes. So Google Maps is obviously good. And then if you want historic maps, you know it's the go-to place is the National Library of Scotland. Yeah. So they've
Yes.
digitized loads of maps, not just for Scotland, for England as well. So even for your Yorkshire ancestors, you can go on there and get beautiful, digitized, zoomable maps, Ordnance Survey maps, and other map collections as well. But the Ordnance Survey maps are the main ones that Family Historians love because they're pretty detailed. Yeah. And then another really cool place to learn about locations is to go to the Family Search Wiki, which I think I've mentioned every few weeks. I'll mention it because it's really, really good. It's got, I can't even remember, but it's got 100,000 articles or 150,000 articles. Anyway, it's got loads of articles. But imagine those articles either represent, well, they do all represent genealogy related topics. So some of them are related to specific record collections, some of them are related to specific places. And so you could go there, search for an overview article, wiki article on the Family Search Wiki just about Scotland, or you could search for one on Paisley and you could drill down and see how specific information you can get, and they'll be able to tell you which records are available, like when the old parish register started in that area. So that's really helpful because you found that your first instance of a old parish record with that marriage record that you were very unimpressed with. So you could find more records to be unimpressed with going back in time, and you need to know when the start date is, because there's no point you banging your head against the wall and searching for them when the records just don't exist from prior to that date, because each area will have different start dates because of the passage of time. So not all records have survived. Yeah.
Mm.
This is
It really freaks me out, this aspect of family history. Like, it feels like an overload in some respects. Like, I know maybe I'm very guilty of this and it's maybe my nature, but I'm very comfortable sitting in Ancestry, doing my research. But now we've gone off to Scotland's People and got a few bits and bats. You're talking about going off to Family Search and getting a few bits and bats. It just overloads me a little bit, if I'm honest. I'm like, I've got these documents now. I guess there's a little fear factor about copyright and not really knowing what's going on. But I've got the marriage. Well, it's not the marriage certificate, is it? The parish record thing for Alexander and Jeannie. But that's on Scotland's People. I haven't put it on Ancestry. Do I then just upload that to Ancestry? Am I allowed?
Do you know, it is a weird thing, isn't it? Because people do this the whole time, and that's a really serious issue you've just touched on with copyright. Thanks, Nathan. So now I'll have to do my normal talk about copyright off the top of my head.
I'm making this up. It's not true.
No. So you're right, it is a really important point, because when we get hold of digitized images, then normally, whether we read them or not, they're going to have terms and conditions, or very often, unless they're from somebody's private website, they're going to have specific terms and conditions, a hyperlink to them, and you should read them and see that your ongoing usage of that image complies with those terms. Even if somebody doesn't have any specific copyright terms, then in the UK, any image, anything is born with copyright. It's like, it doesn't need to be said. Most people think it has to have a specific copyright notice on it. It doesn't. You have born copyright. It's born protected, and which becomes increasingly a joke with the AI world we live in. But it does have born copyright. How far you can protect that, as I say, in a crazy digital world with AI coming into the fray as well, is a different matter. Anyway, to stick to the point, so getting back to Scotland's People, those images, off the top of my head, I think you're allowed to use 20 images without seeking permission, but I will have to read those terms again. So I have to say, what I do, because I am Mrs. Neurotic, I will download the images, because I'm a great believer in don't leave the images on whichever site you've got them from. Download them so you've got your own personal collection of these records. Even if they're in your own separate OneDrive or Google Drive account, you've got your own images. Then I upload them to my Family Tree Maker account, and then I put a lock on them, anything, so that I have the access to them on my own computer, but I'm not sharing them around. But I'm neurotic, and I guess I feel a little bit like I should try and be extra careful, because of working on Family Tree magazine, I don't want to be a bad example to anybody. And the same goes if you've got images from the UK National Archives. You're able to take photos for your own personal usage, but you're not able to use them in a commercial setting. Or if you go on Wikipedia, there's lots of Imperial War Museum images which say they're in the public domain, but when you read the terms, they're not in the public domain for commercial usage. So if you found an image on there on Wikipedia from the Imperial War Museum, you could download it, you could upload it to your own personal blog, as long as it's not a commercial paid for blog that you're charging people to view things on. And that's fine. Whereas I can't use those images in Family Tree magazine without acquiring a specific commercial license. So back to the Scotland's People thing, lots of people do it all the time. It seems to be okay.
I just don't. It is about the copyright, but it is more like I feel like my tree and my research, despite having a research log, despite having a couple of folders on my desktop, my tree is at a glance saved on Ancestry. And if I'm in other places getting other documents that aren't on Ancestry, then I'm suddenly storing them elsewhere in different folders. And again, it requires me to either cross-reference my research log to say where I got these documents from, or equally, to back up the fact that suddenly, yes, I put this information into Ancestry minus the actual document, for example. I don't like that. I want everything in one place. I don't know if that's just impossible or...
So what we could do, there's two things we could do. When it comes to copyright, there isn't one overarching answer apart from check the copyright. There isn't one kind of fix-all answer. So in this instance, we can go to Scotland's People, we can read the terms of use, and we can find out a solution that will work for you and complies with their terms for how you're going to use those Scotland's People images. But then I mentioned like the maps. So for instance, you're probably going to want to use some of the maps from the National Library of Scotland. And again, that's okay. Most of those maps are able to be used even in a commercial setting, but you have to include a little credit line, which is reproduced with the National Records of Scotland, or something like that. Anyway, it tells you what the words are, so you can just copy and paste that. But it is complicated. So another thing you could do is you could say, right, well, there's two options. You could say, for the minute, I don't want to get distracted. I want to keep with my project to find all my 3 times great-grandparents, and I want to find all their children, and I'm going to not worry about Scotland for the moment, and I'm just going to stay within the safe parameters that you know, and continue to focus on the goals that you set yourself at the start of the year. There's nothing bad about doing that. That's a really sane thing to do. And sometimes in life, when we're busy or we've got lots of work on or lots of things on our mind, it's fine to cut ourselves a doable plan. We can't accomplish everything, and it's supposed to be fun and interesting, not overwhelming. So if that feels right for you, that's a good thing to do. I will suggest an alternative only because it might suit somebody who's listening. So let's say you're in Nathan's position and you're branching out from the main subscription website that you use. It could be Ancestry, it could be Find My Past, MyHeritage, whatever, and you want to start using different resources. Then you are getting to the stage potentially, you could, depending on the terms, as long as you feel they're compliant, and they are compliant, upload images to those subscription websites, as long as the terms of those images are okay with that. Or you could say, well, I'm going to actually embark on the route of getting my own bit of family history software. So like Family Tree Maker or Roots Magic or Reunion. And we did a whole series of reviews of these in Family Tree Plus. If anyone's a member of Family Tree Plus, you can find these reviews. We did about five or six of the key programs just in 2025. So they're in our video library. Anyway, you can get one of these programs and then you can go to your Ancestry tree or wherever it is, export a GEDCON file, which sounds horrendous, but is easy. Yeah, it's easy to do it, and then import it to the software. And from then on, you can build your tree principally on your desktop family history software. The drawback is that I know what you do, Nathan, is you do your research on the bus on your Ancestry app, don't you? And so there and then, straight away, it's a beautiful way to research because you've got one location where you're doing your research. Your tree on your phone matches your tree on your laptop. You could go round to a friend's house, log into your Ancestry account and show them your tree again. Everything is in one place, super accessible. Whereas once you've got it, if you're principally researching on your laptop, then you're going to be, with most programs, you're going to be reliant on the fact that sooner or later, if you have been researching on the bus, you're going to have to somehow copy that information down to your desktop iteration of your tree.
Yeah. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it? It's because equally the other way around is I'm looking on different websites and then I'm gonna have to pull that into Ancestry anyway. So it's kind of same but flipped around.
It's not perfect. Family Tree Maker does have a lovely solution. So that's why I use Family Tree Maker, is because I like doing family history on my iPad sitting in bed. And I am a busy, naturally very disorganized person. But with Family Tree Maker, there's a sync button. So just in the top right-hand corner, you open up your Family Tree Maker and you just press the little wheel, as long as you're logged into your Ancestry account, and then it will synchronize your Ancestry and your Family Tree Maker tree. So if you've done things on your Family Tree Maker, it'll upload it to your Ancestry tree. Done it on Ancestry, it'll download it to your Family Tree Maker tree. Pretty good,
Right,
isn't
that's
it?
good.
It's really good. It's
That's
so
fun.
good. Yeah. But it's an expensive program to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think from where I'm being lazy perhaps. Maybe I'm in a lazy mood today, but it's obviously the fact I've got so far on Ancestry and I've made this my hub and here I am. I'm loath to move from it. Not that there's any need to, is there? Like you said, I could just carry on with my tasks that I've given myself and not get too bogged down. I don't know.
Another thing you can do, so I think plugging things we've done, but we have done some seriously useful courses and videos and things in Family Tree Plus. So last year in the summer, Karen Evans did this wonderful course and it was called How to Use Ancestry But Better. And one of the hints that she gave, which I have to say I'd never ever used before or noticed, and it's when you're on somebody's profile and you can add a web link. So what you could do there, that would be the ideal place. Let's say you've gone onto the National Library of Scotland, you found a beautiful contemporary map of Paisley in the 1850s or 1860s, and you want to easily be able to find that, you just get that web link, you copy it, and you paste it into Alexander Mackay's on his profile where it says add web links. You paste it there, and that's super neat and tidy. It's accessible wherever you are. Even if you found, so that you were finding there were lots of place names that weren't familiar to you, so you're finding it hard to work out how far away is this place? Am I looking at the same Mackay family? Blah, 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 weren't you? Which is a really natural predicament for us all to get stuck on.
Yeah.
So you're going to probably have to keep consulting this map for a while, probably forever. Yeah. Because they keep moving, there's slightly different locations. You know, when you're looking at Alexander when he's a little boy, there's every chance he's got 7 or 8 siblings and they're all born near each other, but not in the same place. And you're trying to work out where those villages are. So each generation is going to bring up geography questions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It's really nice. It's really neat, that map thing. And the reason why so Google Maps is great because it's, with anything which can avoid a learning curve, makes it easier for us to accomplish something, doesn't it? So we all know Google Maps, use it the whole time to find out where B&Q is or whatever it is. So we're used to that. Whereas the National Library of Scotland suddenly sounds a little bit scarier if you haven't been there. But you don't even need to log in. It's completely free. And the maps are beautiful historic maps. So seeing a map of Paisley now with just a boring old digital map, like with the white and green and blue and the A whatever marked there, it's not very atmospheric, is it?
No.
Whereas, and also with all the building that happens in the meantime, it's quite often there's loads of place names in one big conurbation of like loads of, you can't even see any boundaries between one place name and the next. They're all joined onto each other, aren't they? All the suburbs and everything else. Whereas if you go back to the 1850s or 1860s, then you can see before the massive Victorian building, okay, some of it's got underway, but you can gradually see the arrival of railway lines getting built. You can see that those things aren't suburbs, they're separate villages. And you get a different view. You get a little bit of a view what it's like for your ancestor to live there. And you see the kind of the different factories might be labelled on it.
Right, nice.
Is that tempting?
It is a little bit. It flashes people out, doesn't it? And creates the world a bit more. For some reason this morning I've got my fact head on and I just want facts.
Yes. So that's completely fine to want facts. I still think I'm still on the some reason this morning I'm on the bandwagon with maps. And the reason why is to help you establish those facts, you need a map, because then you can use your brain to look at those place names that you've been given, and you can make deductions as to the likelihood or unlikelihood of those search results.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, definitely can't avoid it, can we? Like, as we did with our not very successful live session, it threw up so many names that never heard of, and why would I have? So you have to go to the maps, don't you?
I always, whenever I start any new bit of my family history, I always feel completely like I've never done any family history before. I always have to go and find a map, and it's almost just like a bit of a process, just as an acceptance for me, because I wouldn't have a natural knowledge of loads of places. So forgetful, even if I have done something or
Oh, even regardless of places, just going on to a different branch, it's suddenly you forget the basics, don't you? Of like, how do I get this tree to go further back? And it sounds daft, but it takes a while to get yourself back into that groove of the initial searches, and then it should naturally just flow.
I've been doing a bit more of my out and down family history research. Again, it's been slow progress, Nathan. I don't know whether it's the time of year. I am making progress, but it's desperately slow. I did have a lucky win, and so macabre, isn't it? I found a couple, and they had 3 children, the first of whom died when he was 4 years old, and I managed not to. I don't know whether I probably will order his death certificate, but I haven't ordered it yet because it's quite a side branch. But maybe I should order anyway, just for curiosity, like you say. And then they had twin boys, and I couldn't find one of the twins. But then, gene mixture, I found the other twin, one of the twins, on the 1939 register. So got their precise birth date, or got that one twin's precise birth date. So then I was like, wicked, I now know the other twin's precise birth date, even though he's not there on the 1939. Then I managed to find the other twin, found his death entry, luckily dying as an old man, because his birth date was mentioned in the death register index. I felt that was a lucky little twin insight. Yeah.
That's nice. That's good.
Was neat. Yeah. Don't often get twins. Was really helpful. I was like, yeah. Yeah, my that research felt sluggish. I was just slogging along, and a piece altogether. I'll continue.
Good stuff. Now, did you say you'd actually progressed my research for me a bit?
Well, not desperately. I mean, I'm pretty sure I found Alexander's baptism, so that feels exciting.
That does sound exciting.
Yeah. And I did my normal thing of seeing who else could I be getting in a muddle with. And it didn't feel like there was anyone I could be getting in a muddle with.
Well, that makes me happy.
Yes, I know. It's not a ringing endorsement, is it? But it felt positive.
Yeah, no, that sounds
What
good.
though, Nathan? So if it was my own research, I am a cautious researcher, but I've cast the net wide and made it narrower and narrower to see who the possible contenders are. Blah blah blah. I've said that a trillion times, but that's just what I like to do to make sure I'm not finding someone who looks as though they fit and not realizing there were 3 other possibilities down the road that I hadn't noticed. And so I got to homed in, and I was like, I'm pretty sure, I feel confident this is the one. I feel confident. So if it was my tree, I'd now be at the point where I can go, yes, I'm adding it. I feel confident about this. But then suggesting, I'm not a professional researcher, so I don't do research for other people. Man alive, I think you've got to be brave to be a professional researcher, because the responsibility of saying that to you, and then you could embark on a whole bunch of research, building back and back, and then imagine in like 1 year's time, 10 years time, I go, Nathan, I've got a confession. You would not be laughing.
It's all wrong. You need to chop that entire branch off.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, I guess I'll go look at that research and see if I agree with your findings before I do cement it to my tree.
Yes, I'd be really interested to hear your points of view, like any discrepancies that make you feel uncertain, anything that makes you feel more confident. Because also they're your family, and sometimes you might spot something. There might be something like a middle name or something that you go, oh, this really feels as though it fits because one of their children's also got this middle name. Or there'll be sometimes as the person's own family, you spot things which might be staring me in the face, but because I don't know all that other wider context, I can't spot those things. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll give it a look and report back.
And so I think what I did, I think I found your Alexander's baptism, but I only found his entry in the search results. And so you're going to need to go on Scotland's People, spend your 6 credits, and get the entry. I don't think I bought the entry for you, did I?
No.
No, that's what you need to do.
Okay.
And I'll pay you back 6 credits if I'm really wrong.
And even if you're not a lion, then you can give me.
Okay. So what do you think about, what do you do when you get stuck with your family history? Do you do the, I know what I do, it's really bad.
I know what I do, and it's really bad.
Oh, what's your bad?
I go somewhere else.
Do I?
I give up and go to a different branch, and it's tricky, isn't it? It depends on the depth of your research and where you're at. Because I think early on in my initial like foray into family history, I'd get stuck more often because of lack of knowledge, of basic knowledge. So I'd be like, oh, I'm stuck at this basic point. I'll switch and do the same on a different line. Whereas now I probably do the same, but it feels more organized. That makes any sense. Like when I talk about doing my I do my timeline with the censuses matching together. It's really slow and methodical, and sometimes it picks out all the information, sometimes it doesn't. So when I've done that for a certain person, if it's not naturally progressing me backwards, I'll just go to the next person. But it doesn't actually feel like I'm getting stuck, even though technically I have got stuck. I'm just going to a different person and carrying it on that way.
I don't think that's a silly plan. I mean, sometimes it depends. When we say we go to a different person, sometimes, so if we've got a project in mind that we want to accomplish, then scooting off to an entirely different branch or different time period or something else is not going to help that project ever happen, is it? So maybe we do need to have a bit more stamina.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I think my getting stuck now is more methodical. I'm not literally darting around my tree thinking I'm stuck here. I'm going to go to the from the maternal side to the paternal side and do something completely different. I am working to this goal still of these third time great grandparents, so I can get stuck on an entire row, but I'm still on that same task. So it feels less like I am actually, oh my God, I'm stuck. Whereas if I was like, I'm determined to get this back to the 1700s, and I've not got to that point yet. So I don't know. I feel less scared about getting stuck because I know there's so much to go at that I've already either got distracted by or not gone back to. That's me.
No, yes, and also you don't want to waste time. Like if we're literally stuck and not coming up with a clear plan, then you can waste a lot of time just not making progress. You need to think of a way out of that stuck position, don't you? Each of us do.
Yeah, I think that's why I like my census plan. It's so organized in what it does. It's like, right, gather all these core documents as quickly as you can, cross-reference a few of them with timelines, because obviously I'll know a few bits and bats from other people on the tree, making sure it all matches. And there's going to be an inevitable stop, but within it, it could equally help me get back a generation as well. So it's doing lots of things for me already.
We're currently doing this wonderful course with Carol McCulloch, and it's about AI, using AI for family history. And it is, although I was just being sniffy about AI and the kind of wild west of copyright a few minutes ago, a little while ago in this episode of the podcast, then the uses that AI can be helpful for in helping us get unstuck is amazing. Like even just pasting in bits of your tree. So you could export that GEGCOM and input the GEGCOM and ask it to troubleshoot, or to say, or you can ask it questions like, I've got stuck at this point, where can I look next? It will come up with research plans, lists of records you can consult. You have to watch out a little bit, because sometimes it might come up with something you've really, really, really never heard of and doesn't seem likely. And if you ask it, it might go, sorry, I made that bit up. So there's a bit of a caveat, but on the whole, it's fantastically helpful as a brainstorming partner.
Right, that's quite cool.
It is cool, isn't it? Because I've got my out-down family tree. So I'm doing this on Ancestry. I'm adding tags to help me keep track of who I've which of my 3 times great-grandparents I've accomplished adding all their descendants and going forward to present time. But I know I'm going to have got in a muddle because I'm me. So I thought at some point I can export a GegCom and I can ask it to do an analysis of how many generations I've got forward for each of my 3 times great-grandparents. Be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't say you're wrong. Made loads of mistakes.
Well, it is quite honest. It will tell you discrepancies and things. That's what you want.
Yeah, I guess so. That's good.
Yeah. So I think I will do that. I'm going to do a bit more progress though first. I still feel under control at the moment. I just know at some point in the future I'm going to get in a muddle and need that second pair of eyes to help me work out where I am with everything. So we touched a little bit about the Scottish ancestors, and it's actually quite exciting, Nathan. You know what we've got coming up in February?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
We've got Scottish Family History Month.
We've got really, really fantastic speakers. So we're starting off at the beginning of the month with a group panel discussion, and it's going to be hosted by Chris Payton, who is just the genealogical mastermind of Scottish family history research. And with him's going to be Tahisha McCabe from the University of Strathclyde, and also Veronica Schroeder from National Records Scotland. So they're going to be looking at family history records and skills, particularly focusing on Scottish ancestors. So it's perfect. It's what both of us need.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Is that one completely free as well?
That one's completely free. And then we go on to 3 further evenings. They're ticketed events, but they're really in-depth learning experiences with the 3 speakers. Yeah, but a free one. Anyone is welcome to come along. So you go to our website, www.family-tree.co.uk, and you'll find all the information there. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Really good.
So what's your homework going to be over the coming week?
I really don't know. I am so very torn. Part of me does, obviously, I need to check your facts out about Alexander. And again, flitting about everywhere. I feel like now I don't want to stop on my 1911 hunt, and I want to do my 3rd times great-grandparents. I'm just that way out today. So it'll be a mystery. I guess I'll see what mood I wake up in on the day I'm doing my family history research, and see whether I go looking for children or whether I go looking for 3rd time great-grandparents.
Well, either way, it's going to be interesting.
I just want progress, I think. I feel like the 1911 thing is brilliant. I'm finding people that weren't on my tree that need honouring, etc. So it is worthwhile, but now I feel like I'm in the mood to get the bigger task and flesh out the layer of the 3rd time great-grandparents. We'll see. It's obviously quite sad stuff as well, doing the 1911 thing. So
I think that sounds a good idea.
what about you?
I'm going to carry on with my out-down. Yeah. So I'm starting with my 3 times great-grandparents and building forward from them.
Cool.
Yeah, so similar but different. Okay, thanks for listening then.
Happy researching.